So it is the next morning. I just watched the second half of the finale because instead of, putting them in one clip on the website, they were just like, no, we'll put them in two separate parts. So I didn't know that there was a first half to this episode. I literally said, though, in the video, I was like, this should have been a two-part finale. It was. I was just stupid. So that's on me. But as you've seen, I already cried. I already had that emotional ending, and I would genuinely be okay with just watching that second half, but I feel like I should watch the whole episode in its entirety to really give the full idea of what happened in the finale, because, the second half of the finale truly felt like nothing happened. So maybe something's gonna happen in this half? I feel like it would be unfair to judge it only seeing half of it, So let's see what happens. But you already know my thoughts on it based on my last clip. I already cried. Let's see if I can cry a second time, though. That'll be fun. And again, I have work in an hour, so I'm going to be eating some donuts for breakfast as a celebration of the fact that this show is over.
That big fella in there is my brother Sam. We kill monsters.
Oh my god, first of all, this cover? No. Second of all, why did he get arrested? Cass couldn't even fucking put him in the finale.
It really is a family.
This right here.
Is this not an episode? Is this like a documentary style episode where they're talking about the show? Because I don't need to watch that. It says special, so maybe it's not even an episode.
You think that you can anticipate the surprises?
Damn it, Sam, this whole thing is spinning out of control.
And you never can.
No, we can. They die, and then they come back, and they cheat the system every time. Oh my god, this isn't even an episode. So that was just the finale? Oh my god, that was so bad.
Really, my whole life. Dad's on a hunting trip.
And he hasn't been home in a few days.
And I always wanted to make a
Poor
TV
Jess.
show about that subject matter.
Jess just wanted a hot, smart boyfriend, and then she died. Hazel!
What people then gravitated to more than just the world that these two brothers were in was the relationship that these two brothers had. And Kripke knew that from the very beginning.
He wanted Wincest?
They're average Joes, essentially. There's nothing spectacular about them aside from his hair. And
Sam was half demon.
Bought it in season 6.
Do we all like to forget that Sam was half demon?
Sam, get him out of here!
His dad was Azazel. Does everyone like to forget this? You were also the chosen vessels for Michael and Gabriel, yeah? Michael and Lucifer. You were not normal.
As he grew with the show, he became, in a lot of ways, their real father.
Yeah. Remember when he was in a wheelchair for 3 seasons?
Home for a
And then he
number
was
of years,
healed.
and the guys needed a home base. They needed somebody to go to. They needed somebody to straighten them out. What is it?
They needed someone to fix their daddy issues, yeah.
Love, I think, is probably the biggest thing, just the love these brothers have for each other.
Do they? You would think that they would communicate better if they cared about each other brotherly love.
Having trust issues with a demon.
Of who they are because of their humanity.
This isn't even an episode. I don't know why I'm watching this. I wish I cared about them at season 15. No. Y'all died 5 different times. I don't care. You die one more time? What's the difference? So I don't need to be watching this, but I'll watch it anyways. Just to make fun of it.
We're here to help. But I'm Crowley.
King of the Crossroads!
Are a big fish. I wanted to do you the honor of seeing
And then he became the King of Hell. Very proud of him.
His opening scene is kissing a banker under a crossroads, which I thought was pretty much hysterical.
Enjoy the obscene wealth. See you in 10 years.
I think in the evolution of the character, he went from
Bit
being an
homophobic,
obvious
not gonna
villain
lie.
type who was using the Winchesters.
Maybe it's just the wind.
Cass!
Cassio, by far, had the greatest entrance of any character in the entire
Cass was the best character. The only good character, the only good male character, I should say. All the female characters were great. That was my favorite part of the show, is that when an angel dies, you can see the shadow of their wings on the ground. That was a beautiful design choice.
He's the third brother.
You indeed have a habit of exceeding my
You just made him gay!
Grateful to have anybody pick up arms and go to battle alongside him and his brother.
You literally just made him gay. Stop calling him your brother!
And he's a good soldier to have on your side.
Hey,
Ow! What the fuck happened to Adam? You left him in the cage for ever, and no one ever cared that he was just still in the cage. He was their legitimate brother.
You're a brother, Cass. I want you to know that.
Stop no homoing him. He literally made a gay love confession. But don't make it seem like I forgot Adam. I'm still mad. He was their legitimate half-brother, and they left him in the cage in hell to die. And then they casually mention him in a few seasons, but he never actually gets freedom. As far as I know, I stopped watching the show.
I love all of you.
Sometimes it feels
See,
like
that's why the I love you in that last episode didn't mean anything to me, because he's done it before.
We don't leave family behind.
You literally let him walk into the empty, and then didn't say hi to him in heaven, so... Oh, I forgot her name. Joe's mom. They didn't deserve to die.
I think some of the more interesting storylines on Supernatural have been where we have taken the biggest risk.
Supernatural has everything. Life, death, resurrection, all set to music you can really tap your toe to.
Yeah,
I didn't like the meta moments in Supernatural.
Like, let's try to be the most meta that anyone has ever.
The musical really is when the show went downhill. Oh yeah, then they went into This storyline was weird.
Jared, Jensen, outstanding. That was just great.
Yeah.
Supernatural, tail slate, marker.
When it was like
Mistake, I think,
really
is-
them in like filming the
It's as
show.
good as any episode of anything on television.
I thought that was
Why would
funny.
anybody want to watch
I
our
do hate
lives?
meta,
Whether
but
they
that was
were in
funny.
the interview or not. Once it worked, we just were like, there is no too far.
Bob, Eric, thanks for
And that was a bad choice. There isn't too far.
And we were really committed to being smart and funny and then playing with form.
Hold on. Let's talk about the musical real quick before they get into it. I hated this storyline. I don't think I hated it like in the moment because I was like, oh, this is fun and cool and funny, but like the idea that they were like so self-aware of the idea behind Dean and Cass being such a big fan relationship and then they continued to queerbait us? No. Fuck you. And then you go in the very last episode, you make Cass gay, and then you kill him for it. No. Fuck you. Gabriel was my favorite villain though. He was so funny.
These shows were beautifully executed, brilliantly written, and I think they've always resonated.
Oh
with
yeah, the
fans.
Scooby-Doo episode. I still haven't seen this.
I would do a whole season of Scooby-Doo.
You should have. Maybe one day I'll watch it, but probably not. I'm okay.
Do it, or I will.
All you need
Remember
is
when
that
Death
one
was that
person.
old white guy? And then they killed him.
That's what they have.
And then it was Billy.
Forgive me.
No, then he killed Death. Yep, see?
They'll always come back together. The love that they have for each other is so strong that nothing can really tear them apart.
Then why didn't Sam bring Dean back from the dead in the finale?
That's really the heart and the soul of the show, and why we've lasted as long as we have.
You're saying that he cheated Death 5, 6, 7, 10,000 times, but he was like, this one time? No. They really shot themselves in the foot with that. You can't have them die and have it be meaningful when it literally hasn't been meaningful. Oh, their young dad.
And this is a great car.
He did a whole episode was basically from the car's point of view.
It was the day in the life of the Impala, so it was her story.
That was not a good episode. It was very
It was how
stupid.
she sees things.
That being said, for a good 5 years, I really wanted to own this car. Distinguished guest, let's bring back my favorite characters. Bobby! Jody!
He's probably
Gabe!
intimidating
Gabe
person,
comes back?
keeper.
If you're looking for a way,
Sam.
Stomped on Julian Richings' death, which is just such a brilliant.
All the side
cast.
characters are better than Sam and Dean.
If a bacteria
That isn't even a hot take. I think we can all agree. No character, like, no developed side character is less interesting than Sam and Dean. Chuck! We love Chuck. It's the fact that they can, like, literally kill God in the show, but they can't make characters gay for me.
I really like.
What is that conservative logic?
I think she's been great.
Rowena is a great witch.
We love Rowena. Every female character in the show is the best. Let's make a spin-off show with just the women.
Do you really think the power of one witch can hurt?
I take that back. Amara was the worst character. Amara was a very bad character. They don't treat the women right. There needs to be like a woman showrunner that does a spin-off of just like great women.
There is a want and a desire to do the right thing.
how many souls are in there?
Couple 100,000.
Then why
The
did Sam and
idea
Dean
of
keep cheating
selflessness
Death?
is
That's not the right thing.
practiced by all and condemned by all. So when someone wants to sacrifice themselves for the greater good, no one will let them. But they will not hesitate when it's their opportunity, which is very heroic.
Come on, you know the drill.
Is it really a sacrifice if they never actually die?
All along the way, we watch these characters fighting epic forces of evil in the world, but also fighting their hardest to stay together.
Yeah, you love chick flicks.
If they wanted to fight, then why didn't Sam bring Dean back in the finale?
Watching someone go through those fights.
You can't set a precedent
Victorious.
of the brothers never being broken up, even by death, and then letting it happen in the finale, just because it's the finale. No! That's shitty writing.
It is Jack, right?
With Jack, you've got a kid who's pretty conflicted.
No!
This is their son, though, yeah?
He's half human, he's half archangel. He's born with, I think, a very specific fate.
Wait. Is that the kid from, like, season 5? Remember in, like, season 5 when they were trying to round up everybody for the big, like, what was supposed to be the end of the world battle between Michael and Lucifer? And they got, like, this kid who was, like, really powerful. I forget what he was exactly, but he was, like, a super powerful child, and then he never actually came back for the story. Is that Jack? You can't have yellow eyes and not immediately make me think of Azazel, who we called the yellow-eyed demon for, like, the longest time.
Sam sees a lot of himself in Jack. He feels a specific empathy for Jack and his position.
For being half supernatural, yeah. The thing that you always like to forget about your character, yeah.
Good guys.
Within the Brotherhood.
So you could give him a third member of the family, almost like a son or a brother, but you can't bring back Adam?
What would you have me do? Get me to Sam.
But they're also heroes.
We will all be hunted.
Are they?
Just like, yeah, today might be a good day to die. And if I go down, I'm taking some monsters with me.
You think I'll...
And then Dean died from tetanus.
Could they express their feelings more? Could they be more tender and sweet with one another? Yes. But they are exemplifying the very best versions of warriors.
No! Oh my god, when they brought back their mom, I hated that storyline. But no, literally, 90% of all of the conflicts came from Sam and Dean not communicating. I haven't seen the show in so long, but I remember in season 8 when, like, Sam was, like, possessed by an angel and he didn't tell Dean, or whenever they make a deal with somebody to, like, save the other, they don't tell one another. Like, there's so many moments in which they just don't communicate because they want to, like, protect the other, and you would think, like, the first few times, okay, yeah, that was a lapse in judgment, but it keeps fucking happening. And, like, every time it happens, they're like, okay, we won't do this again. But then they do it again! That is the most frustrating thing ever, is that they don't develop as people. They are just, like, consistently fucking up in the exact same way every time, and then they get out of it by some grand divine intervention every single time. It gets so boring. It, like, is so predictable. Like, the show has no stakes when you know that, like, even if they die, they're gonna be brought back. Like, and then they brought back their mom. The one driving force that they had to continue to be hunters was, like, to avenge the death of their mother and to make sure that this doesn't happen to anybody else so they're not, like, left orphans. And then they just bring back their parents. And I'm like, no.
I was going to have an opportunity to explore Mary as a whole person.
Yeah, not just as, like, a plot device for them.
With Lebanon, it's the 300th episode, which is amazing.
I never saw this. I think, yes, in theory, it's good to, like, be able to give all of your characters 3 dimensions and not just make, you know, the women plot devices and, like, the men's storyline. I get that, but also there's enough well-rounded female characters that we didn't need to bring back the one source of, like, all of their, like, driving force. Like, their mom didn't need to come back. Nobody really needs to come back. I think that if you wanted to be so diehard about being like, no angels, you should have been really diehard about being like, nobody comes back to life. So that, you know, things actually have stakes. So that when people die, you, like, worry and miss them. But, like, nobody has any stakes. Because everybody comes back. Or everybody can come back. There's nobody that, like, died that, like, couldn't have come back. You know, like Kevin, I don't know if he ever came back, but he probably could have. Like, you see Gabriel came back even though he was dead. Lucifer came back even though he was also dead. Their mom, their dad, I'm pretty sure Charlie died once, Sam and Dean 1,000 times, pretty sure Crowley died, Cassis died, Rowena's died. Like, literally everybody. So, like, if there isn't the stake of death, then there literally are no stakes at all. You can't have me, like, worry about them, like, sacrificing themselves when it isn't actually a sacrifice because they will come back. Like, it's... I don't get how they don't see that, but sure.
Dad. But more than that, it was a chance to put the family back together.
How? I think we summoned you.
And when I found out what the story was...
About Mom.
Sam? Dean?
That's the 300th episode. Their dad comes back. I can't believe they got him back from The Walking Dead.
Together, even if it's for one dinner.
Oh, they only bring him back for one episode.
was grateful.
That's even worse.
Mom, Dad, Sam, and Dean, even if it's just briefly, sitting around a table, having dinner together, certainly for me was a highlight of the show.
Amen.
I think that's stupid.
I am so proud of you boys.
This episode would have made me cry though. Doesn't mean it's good. Can you believe that they finally got their father saying that they're proud of them and they still can't work through their daddy issues? Billy!
This has been
Hunter's best friend.
Garth!
Thanks, Garth.
And come up with an ending.
What Sam and Dean are fighting against is this idea that there's a grand plan that you have no control over. Fate has largely been their enemy.
just makes you think of all of it, you know, everything that we've done.
Didn't they kill Fate at some point?
Even when the story is written, you can write your own ending.
We will never give you the ending that you want.
And you wrote for Dean to die by being pushed against a rusty nail. That's what you wrote.
I just hope that the fans watching this final episode feel satisfied and grateful that they've been on this journey with us.
Been waiting a long time for
No.
this fight.
He and I and everybody here just want to say thank you.
I'm good with who I am. I'm good with who you are.
Are you? All that repressed bisexuality speaks differently.
You fought for us. You loved us. That's enough.
I really hope that
You have
fans
so
are
much
really
unresolved
satisfied.
trauma. What do you mean?
I hope people understand just how much love went into the making of this show. We're the best in the world.
I think it was a
So I
lot of
said
money
we go out
too.
there, we
Sure.
kick some ass.
Play the song one more time.
Say anything?
You don't have to say it. I heard your prayer.
It's hard to like put into words because we loved it. And we love these characters and we love them.
Play the song again. Play it again. Give Kansas those royalties. Play it again. Or don't. Okay, cool, whatever. So that wasn't even a finale. Okay, so I did watch the finale and it was just bad. It was just bad. So, that's it. Yeah, I didn't need to watch that. I will not be watching Supernatural probably ever again. I'm okay. I don't want to do that to myself. I just think that their interpretation of the show is clearly different than what the show actually is. Like, I think that they're too close to it to get a full perspective on the show that they're making, because it's not good. And I think that's okay. You don't have to like things that are good. You can like the show, and you can also acknowledge that it's bad. Like Shadowhunters. I like Shadowhunters. Was it a good show? No. Very bad show. But this show, having gone on for so many years, I just think that it's not leaving the legacy that they assume it's going to. I feel like for some people it is, maybe for like people who are actually like fans of the show. Maybe I'm just like, I have a different perspective because I'm not like a fan of it, but like the fact that they thought that that would be a good finale, first of all, and the fact that after 15 years, Sam and Dean have not changed once as people. It's just bad storytelling. You think that you would grow as a person once in like 15 years, but no. They're genuinely the same people. Sam maybe is a little bit less argumentative and uptight than he was in like season 1. But like Dean has not changed at all. Like literally the same person in season 1 is the same person in season 15. That's the thing that I always talked about, even when I was actually like actively watching the show, is that they have been through so much trauma and they've had so much loss and they don't deal with any of it and none of it seems to affect them. And that's where I have an issue with it. They don't seem like real people. They like to like they like to talk about it like they are real people, that like we can relate to them in some way, but no. If I had to dedicate my life, 15 years of my life, I had to give up all of my family and all of my dreams to like save this world, this abstract concept of saving the world, I would be so depressed. I would hate my life because no matter what you do, everybody that you love dies. Especially Sam. Literally everybody that he ever loved died. He was left in the finale alone. And he still was dedicated to this cause because he has some sort of moral superiority that he feels he needs to save the world. What kind of bullshit is that? Like, no. Literally, the world has taken everything from him. In what world do you not think... I don't owe them anything else. I've given them my life literally multiple times. I've given them everything that I love, and I'm done. But he still does it. And he still lives a long, happy life, and it just doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. But everybody online also hates the finale. I thought that they would Game of Thrones us. I thought that they would Sherlock us, and I was right. My expectations were so low, and yet I was still disappointed. The fact that we didn't see Cass at all really pisses me off, because Cass was my favorite character. Let's talk real quick about favorite characters. I loved literally every female character except for Amara. I thought that her character was written badly, and I hated that she had this sort of like love interest sort of storyline with Dean. I hated that. Yeah, around Mara's storyline is when I started like actively disliking the show and not wanting to watch it anymore. Then they brought their mom back, and I was like, I'm done. Mara was my least favorite character because she was just annoying and she was too overpowered. That's the thing. But I loved Rowena. I loved Crowley. I loved Gabe. Oh my god, Archangel Gabriel was my favorite character. For like ever since we met him, he was my favorite character, and he's been my favorite character ever since. I love him. He's just so funny, and he brought the best episodes. Like Changing Channels, I'm pretty sure it was a Gabriel episode. He also did the It's Tuesday every day episode. He was so funny. He was my favorite character, and then when he died, I was quite upset. And then when he was brought back, I was glad that he was there because he's my favorite character, but also get upset because I'm like, that's the thing about bringing characters back, is that it's not just like a happy moment because you're like happy that they're brought back. That's what like they want you to think, that you're just like, oh my god, you're not dead. I'm so relieved. But like, no, I went through all of this emotion, all of this grieving because I thought you were dead, and then you just cheat me out of all of those, all that grief. Like, no, that's what pisses me off, is that they think that just like bringing them back is like okay. Like, no, they're dead. I've accepted that fact. I've gone through all those emotions of accepting that they're dead and that they're not going to come back, and then you just are like, oh, never mind. That pisses me off. I love Gabe though. Gabriel was my favorite. I feel so bad for Adam. I don't think he ever came back. I think that they mentioned him because they've mentioned the cage in other episodes where they're talking about Lucifer, and that like Adam was there and like he like does stuff off screen, but like Adam never actually comes back, and they seem to never care about their actual half brother. Like, they talk so much about family and about brotherly love, and then they leave their actual biological brother to rot in a cage in hell. No! You literally can't be like, yes, this show's all about family, but our actual family member, I pretend not to see. No. And I know that's like the dumbest thing to be mad about. It literally happened like a decade ago, but like, no, Adam deserved better than that. Adam deserved better than that. I love Crowley, obviously. Demon of the Crossroads. I do think that the show is very homophobic, though. The fact that they frame Crowley, a man, kissing another man as, like, hilarious, that's a bit homophobic. It's just, like, what about that is funny, if not, like, the gay thing? Because you think gay people are a joke. And then you want to kill the one almost canon gay character. I don't think that that was canon. Y'all can take whatever you want from that. Oh, I'm so sorry. But in my mind, no. That was no. But he literally is like, I love you, and I'm going to die because of that, because of my feelings for you. That's homophobic. And then they take the only other possible bisexual character, and then they kill him as well. The only person that gets to live is heterosexual Sam Winchester. This show's homophobic. I will live by that, especially since Charlie, I think she's the only canon gay character in the show, which is a whole thing within itself, having her be, having the only gay character be female because of the way, men love to fetishize lesbians. That's a whole thing within itself. But the fact that, like, even in the end, she dies, and her girlfriend, she has to watch die as well. Or, like, poof, but basically die. Did they ever get brought back after that? I'm not watching the episode in between these to figure it out. I don't care that much. But, like, Charlie never gets, like, a happy ending as the only gay character. Like, come on. None of the gay characters are happy, and anytime something gay comes up, it's treated as, like, a joke. And that's not cool. That's not cool. You could just see that the show was written by straight white men. You could just see it. And it's not something that I enjoy anymore. It was cool when I was younger, and I thought maybe we were gonna get some sort of, like, good, profound storyline, and like they wouldn't queer bait us for 15 years, but no. I've been let down too many times and now I've seen the truth. But I love Charlie. I love Felicia Day, first and foremost. I love her as an actress. I love all of her other work. So to see her on Supernatural was truly a joy, because I love Felicia Day. And I love that she played Charlie, who was a lesbian, and it was a great story. It was a great time. I think that she deserved better storylines. I don't remember what her intro storyline was. I think she was a gamer, which is very true to real life, and then she was Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz, and then she became a hunter. There's probably a bunch of seasons in the middle that I forget, but Charlie was great. Charlie was my favorite. I also love Kevin, but then they killed Kevin, the only main character of color on the show at the time, so that was also fun. I just think that there's not enough diversity in the show, and like they don't have an issue with that. I just think that, you know, they had one black character, that was Billy. They had Rufus, who they killed. I think they had one angel who was black. And that's it. That's all I can remember. I think they've had 3 black characters. I'm sure there's more, but like truly not enough compared to all the white characters. And then they killed Billy. I think she was the only black female in the show, and then they murdered her. And then all the gay characters are dead. It was just a show about basically a bunch of straight white men just sort of posturing at each other and like leaving the world as collateral damage. And it's not a good show. I love Cass. I can go on about Cass forever. He was my favorite character. Mostly just because I think Misha Collins is like a genuinely good person that like wanted that character to be more than he was able to be, and I could see that and I appreciate that. Like, Cass went through actual character development. I think that's why I liked him. Like, you saw him at the beginning, and then you saw him at the end, and he was like a different person, and you saw throughout the seasons how he grew and changed, specifically because his love, not just for the Winchesters, but for Dean specifically. Like, he gave up an army of angels for this one man. I will literally never get over that. He literally was like, yes, I could take all of these angels. I don't remember what the war was about. I could take the side of all these angels, or I could take the side of this one man who I love. And he chose Dean over like everything that he knew, all of his like heritage and who he was as a person. He was an angel for so much longer than he knew Dean, but he chose him because of love. And then they killed him for it. And then they wanted to make like a musical where they basically make that whole thing a joke. No. I just don't like how they treated all of the good characters on the show. Like, they allowed Sam and Dean to do whatever they wanted, and they had literally no consequences ever. This is, I think, why I didn't like the show. Because I agreed with all the people trying to kill them. They were like, they're cheating the system, they're cheating death, and they're ruining a lot of things in their wake. They shouldn't be able to just, die and then come back whenever they want and rewrite all the rules. And I was like, yeah, sounds about right. But they're trying to preach this idea of being like, you can write your own story, it doesn't matter what they say. And I'm like, no, there are rules in place for a reason, and there are people whose lives you're ruining in your pursuit of free will. And it was stupid. I love Jodie. I loved all the women. I love Jodie, and I love the 2 girls, Alex and the other one that I can't remember. Those girls were great. Yeah, like Cass's Vessel's daughter, and then the other girl. They were lovely. I feel like they should have got a spin-off show. I feel like Jodie and those 2 girls could have had a wonderful, entertaining spin-off show, because I don't think that they died. Because they were supposed to be in the bunker when Chuck was killing everyone off, but then they weren't actually there. So they could just be alive. I think that they should have gotten a spin-off show, because the whole crux of the show is this idea that Sam and Dean are the only people able to save the world. And like, you would think, oh, well, God is dead, maybe? I don't know. There's no more things to like try and come and kill the world. But like, we thought that with every big villain through all the seasons, we thought that like the apocalypse between Lucifer and Michael was going to be the end, and then there was more after that. So obviously the world, by that logic, is going to go into peril again. Who's going to save it now that Sam and Dean are dead? I think that Jodie and the girl should have a nice spin-off show, and it should be show run and written by women, so that's not bad. It's just, you could just tell that the show was written by white men for white men. Straight white men, specifically. Because, like, all of the female characters, while I like them, are not well written. Like, they're either love interest, or they're comedic relief, or they're cold. Like, the whole show is really just characters revolving around Sam and Dean and using them in order to help Sam and Dean's overall storyline, which, like, I get, I guess. But, like, no woman except for like Rowena, who I adore, and characters like Charlie and Jody are just sort of like actual characters. Like there was Meg, who was like I don't think she was like a love interest, but she like served as a romantic counterpart to the boys, where she was like, I don't know how to describe it because I don't really remember too much about what Meg did, but I remember just her, she wasn't just like a villain, like she had to like flirt with them, and it was unnecessary. And so was Amara. Amara was like in love with Dean, and then it was a lot. And then there were like no people of color. And there were sometimes gay people, but there were rarely gay people. I don't know, I just think the show was not done well. But it's over. We're free. We're done. I didn't have to talk about the show for another hour, but I did for y'all. Let me know what you thought of the show. Who are your favorite characters? Did you like Sam and Dean for whatever reason? Did you like them because the show made you like them, or did you like them for real reasons? Like, did you like them because they were shown to be the characters you're supposed to like, or did you actually find, value in their personalities? Like, let me know. I'm just so glad, though, that this show ended when it did, because if this ended when I was watching it when I was like 13 or something, I would have gotten that Hunter's tattoo, and I'm so glad I dodged that bullet. I never have to think about Supernatural again.